I found it very entertaining. I'm not gonna say who it is. Honestly, I don't even know who, I forget his name. But he was giving some crappy ass advice, and I'd like to go through it and criticize it. If anyone wants to stick around, I will give you the truth to his BS, because some things he said were true, but it had like a pathetic little spin on it. And I'll start by saying this. So he's like a guru, right? He spent like 9 years hanging out with like Tony Robbins and like the big gurus, and analyze them for 9 years to determine what traits they have that are getting them laid by hot girls, and compile the list so he could teach others the art to living the dream. Because let's face it, if you're not having sex with a hot girl, you must be walking around wanting to hang yourself. That's how he made it. Like honestly, the only way you're living is if you are having a hot young girl in bed. So like he did pepper in there, like the girl's got to be 20, and then I figured out why. So he did say that, you got to be authentic, which is obviously true. You got to be, confident, not cocky. We all know that. But how do you do that? So he made a big point that it is not the way the girls will like you only because they like how you make them feel, right? And let me tell you about the truth to that, because there is some truth to that. So if you get a girl solely because you have kissed her ass and you have showered her with compliments and you have made her feel like she's a goddess, right? There's something inside of her that was lacking that for her to go and F-U-C-K you for showering her with compliments. See what I mean? Like, okay, so in other words, if you want to screw insecure girls, use his method. Are they going to be sustainable, lifelong? He's like, are they going to be but I don't think he knows, and he's like in his 40s, so he's like saying, like, oh guys, you don't have to settle. It's like, what do you mean? Maybe just one you don't find attractive, somebody doesn't consider themselves settling for, like, just because you don't find the person. I don't know, it got me pissed. Like, I've gone through times in my life where I was like non-attractive, attractive. And I don't know. I just took offense to that. I just took it like stupid, actually, entertaining, not offensive. Okay, I could see how some people would be offended, because he said that I took notes because I couldn't even believe it. He said that oh no, these are my words. Basically, every man who's walking around not with a hot girl is just a miserable, not living their life. So you can make her feel like she's alive. If she's half dead and to begin with, yeah, sure. So if you have to like make a girl, so basically, do you want to be with a girl who she relies on you for her self-esteem? Okay. Now what does that mean? She has poor self-esteem, right? So that starts off great in the honeymoon period, and she's a hot girl and she's jealous, right? And you're like, wow, this is great. Like, this hot girl is jealous and I'm talking to other girls and I've never had this before or whatever. That gets fucking old. You leave the house. Where were you? Like, it's not cute anymore after like the honeymoon period goes away. So anyway, yes, I'm filming in the bathroom today instead of the office for privacy matters. So anyway, so he also said that you have to, his big thing was like, don't get friend zoned because you put yourself in the friend zone. They don't put you in friend zone. You put yourself. And he was like very adamant about that. That's not true. I mean, I'm friend zone people. That and then he said like he's going off of himself and like a Cosmo magazine report. And these Cosmo, I don't believe anything that they print in these magazines. But anyway, so like he said that you have to talk to them like you can't talk to them like they're guys. You have to talk to them like they're girls, and that's the difference. And that's how you get laid. So and then this guy that he's coaching, right? He's like, oh, I got this date with this girl, and I assume he said I really want to get laid. Of course, he didn't say that. So he said, so we got together and we made a plan. He never describes what's involved with these plans, but anyway, so they ended up going home together that night and doing what they both wanted to do, he says, and then having a sexy couple massage that she invited him to the next day. Okay, so if a girl is inviting you to a sexy couples massage the following day after one date, do you think that's a red flag of something? Of some sort? Hey, I'm not judging anybody. Who am I to judge? But I'm just saying, if you want someone emotionally stable, and that's how you're gonna have a sustainable relationship, by being with somebody who's emotionally stable. So do you want to get laid for the rest of your life? Or do you want someone who you jive with and you have a good time with, and whatever, everybody gets old and ugly. Guess what? What happens when she's 90? Well, then if you're about 20 years older, you'll be dead, but I mean, still, okay. Because it was very much talking about younger chicks, and I know why, because guys do talk to me like a guy, because I've bartended and whatever. My guy friends always did. And they call the new girls at clubs, like the 18-year-olds, newbies. And I don't know if everybody calls them that, but I know that they did, because like they were naive, and I was a naive young spring chicken long time ago. So I know, like, a guy would go up to me or a young girl and say, you are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Oh my gosh, I've never seen someone. Oh my gosh, you were just the most amazing. Oh. Like, now I would be like, come on, what do you live under a fucking rock? Like, I might be okay, but like, come on, I'm not the most amazing thing. And don't say that, because that's actually, it's insulting to my intelligence to say that. But when you're young, you think, wow, maybe I am, you know, because you don't know. Like, you believe it. You're like, maybe I am the best looking thing that he's ever seen, and you believe it, and you want to believe it, and this guy's strategy is taking care of. And so at the end of the webinar, I summed it up, and it was like basically taking advantage of young girls, and in a way where he was like, oh, you know, they like nice guys, you know, they like nice guys, but what about those little side strategy sessions that you're having? And what about, oh, and then, like, I don't know if I said this because I was talking to someone else before this, but he was coaching some guy in Vegas, and the next morning he got a text with 100 emojis, I think it's smiley faces or thumbs up or something, because he had a threesome. So you can tell, like, this was like the pivotal moment of his career, right? So he was like, or just, you know, proud of that. Like, that was it. You know, that was the point. He had a threesome. Moving right along, okay? So he was so proud of that. And then, it's like, what are you trying to say? Okay, so so if you want to, oh, and then he says this. So he spent, his fifth, and he had 5 tips, whatever. The 5th one was, gotta get a coach. It's gotta be me. But he didn't say that, but, you know, gotta get a coach who knows what they're doing, right? So then he's bragging about how he spent like $500 to $1 million on coaching for 9 years to get to where he is, to have sex with women. Yet there's these poor souls that are paying for hookers. Can anybody see the irony in that? I mean, he's not paying for hookers, but he's paying for sex. Because without spending that money, okay, you get it. So anyway, these poor souls who are not having sex with hot girls. Then he uses one girl as an example. Her name is Lisa in Miami, who's a Maxim model, and she spends holidays alone, and she just really wants a nice guy. So like, you just go up to a girl, she could be on her phone, you know, she's gonna love it when you interrupt her on her phone out in public while she's trying to do her food shopping. And she's gonna be like, listen, Tinder, everyone swipes, but you just interrupted me on my phone call, and I appreciate that. Let's go home and no, but no, you know, I don't know. And then he did say some things that I do agree with. Yes, women love funny guys, and that absolutely makes up for a whole lot. It does. The personality makes up for a whole lot. So I agree. I just don't think that your goal should be like I think that if your goal is like the hot 20-year-old, you're lacking skills to get an older woman, because they'll see through your bullshit, basically, in my opinion. I mean, why they gotta be young? Because they're naive. And then I just remembered that whole like newbie thing, and I remember being young, and I remember being naive, and I have had boyfriends, and I'm like, yo, you really need to be with not a stupid young girl like me when I was stupid. You really gotta be with a young girl, because no older woman is gonna put up with your bull. You know, as we get older, we get wiser. So we're not gonna go for that. And the guy, he said he was like 44 or something, and then his friend was like 50, who's short, and now made me tear. He's got a model 20-year-old for a girlfriend. I was like, oh gosh, what a tearjerking webinar this is. Like, congratulations. Because before that, he was with another girl he thought he was gonna be stuck with. Like, come on. Like, is it too, I don't know. I mean, just focusing on superficial things like that is not going to get you happy. I'll tell you this, you date someone who's insecure. I'm laughing, it's not funny. What do you think they're gonna do to you as time goes on? You think they're gonna want you to be up high and be happy? They're gonna tear your pedestal down. They're gonna tear you down. They are going to go for the jugular. They're going to isolate you. Anyone is a threat. Go watch the borderline video I posted. You don't want to go with someone who's insecure. You just don't. In the beginning, they're hot, insecure, crazy. They're probably good and bad. It's great, yay. Just wait. You're gonna be miserable, and she's gonna be like doing drive-bys, stalking you, doing some crazy shit. And then it's like the flattery only goes, so far. So anyway, just when he says raise your standards, I think that everybody's standards is different. So you get numb to looks. Like, I had a boyfriend who was considered very hot, right? His personality made him like ugly, literally ugly, very, very soon. People can be hot and ugly. It's a fact. So look for people that you enjoy being around. We all get ugly. So remember that. If you want to spend the rest of your life with someone, we all get ugly and all the end.